Good evening, fellows. Going to give a brief demo about what is Appian BPM. So what we'll discuss about like what are the benefits of using this Appian in the long run. So as most of the banking sector and this health domain are working in IT sector in real world, they are working on Appian. Describe about myself. I'm having a 5+ years of IT experience. I am level 2 certified practitioner. I'm working for currently for a major insurance based domain for Australia. And I'm already have 1+ year of experience, 1.2 years of experience in training, giving training. So two of my fellows are already placed in MNCs in India. And talking about my professional, like I was from last 5 years, I was working as an Appian developer and designer, providing my solution and designing to the major IT based sectors, basically in banking and insurance. What's today's agenda is we are going to discuss first of all what is the architecture of an app and what is required to start building for an app in an Appian. Then we'll follow with some groups, folder, users, and their hierarchy. That is, the base of the Appian application. Then we proceed with designer overview, interfaces, and RIs, so that user will be able to create some design structures and in UIs. Then we'll follow process modelers and their parameters. Like we have PVs are process variables and ACPs are activity class parameters that are will describe in later part. And the other one is introduction to expression rules. That's itself very important while creating an Appian application for the functionality of the flow of the Appian applications. There are some other part also, like we'll start by our building app with CDTs and data store, interfaces, process model, expression rules. That's more about this in the later part. This is the Appian community page that basically allow you to, it's a kind of Appian's world where you can interact with different Appian guys and the other partners of the Appian world. So other than that, we have this the documentation of Appian where you can, it's a guide where you can take help while developing the application, and you can just review or you can use different functions of Appian. So in this part we have basically release note, that is that Appian will upgrade itself in every quarter. So like current, talking about the current scenario, Appian is working on 21.1 and 21.2 is going to release soon. So you can view what are the new changes that are updated in this version, and similarly for every version Appian will have this thing. So if I quickly go to 21.1, the major changes. So from the right pane, you can see these are the list what changes Appian has made in its 21.1 version. So quick, if I navigate to automation, so it will describe me about. So it will describe me whatever the changes Appian has introduced in automation sector. Like then other one is build with low code. We have different features. So we have to, like, it's a basic changes that Appian has introduced prior to its previous version. Similarly, you can also see what are the changes done in the previous version from by selecting the last some, like I think 6 or 7 version. Like if I want to check what is in 20.4 version, so I can go there and view the release notes of that. So these are the some notable changes. So we can go through it later. Next, we'll move on to our one of, I'll show you the application basically how it looks. This is the landing page for an Appian developer or so-called designer. So if you see, like we have different options available here. So we can see this is the designer view. First of all, we can see the applications, we can see the objects that are created in Appian so far. We can see the users, we can see the monitoring and deployment that we'll discuss in later part. So before starting, I would like to tell you that broadly the Appian users are classified into two categories. One is system administrator and one is basic user. So if I see like basic user is the person who is not, who is the front end, like who is the tester kind of thing, who can see the end-to-end flow of application but cannot see this background. And the other one is system administrator, that is the designer part, who can edit the and change the applications or create a new one. So the view you are seeing is because I am a system administrator, that's why I'm able to see this view. So yeah, let's start by, I already like creating an application simply. So what I have to do is I have to click on new application. So it's, I have three options to create. I have to create from scratch, create using application builder, and create using application builder full. So these two are the some of the predefined flow that Appian provides with less, with a low code approach, but we'll go with create from scratch. So like my application, I would provide an application name. So I will give it as my first application. I'll provide some description to it. Hit recreate. I will land on my application view. So it's asking me for some security that we'll discuss again in later section. We'll proceed. So this is my landing page, or you can say designer page for my application that I've recently created. Its name is my first application. So like let's go through the views. What are the so we have a search field there, so we can search our content of the application. We have some object type that we can filter it out. These are the basic objects that we are going through in through our Appian journey while creating an application. Then we have some other filter like who last modified it. Last modified, we have a date field for that. Okay, coming back to my this is the main part that we'll use to create our new object for a application. So starting with like if I go to my PPT, so starting with this, if I go to, we'll follow first groups hierarchy, groups folder, and users and their hierarchy. Starting from it, I will create a group. I will select it. So we have to follow some Appian guidelines before creating any object in the Appian. So like its guidelines are, we have to first give our application as a in suffix. So my application name is my first application, so I will give it as MFA, my first application, underscore followed by my group name. So I will create a admin group initially. So I will add some description it to. So I will skip this parent group. I will add some group members is there. So I will add my name. I will leave the group type as a customer. Then coming to visibility. Visibility is that to whom we can give access to view these groups. So currently by default Appian will provide it's restricted that only members and admins can see this. We can change it to public or some personal. Okay, we can customize it based on our requirement. So currently I'm keeping it as restricted only. Then privacy policy, like who can view the group, it's low, so members can see each other. If I put it on high, then only admin can see each other. No uh, you know except the admin level guys will not able to see the group members. So I'm going to create it. So yeah, I'll save it. So this is my group is created. Next we'll follow with some interesting part of interfaces. So I'll create an interface. So yeah, before coming to interface, I'll create a hierarchy. We'll follow hierarchy. We'll create a folder restoring our upcoming part that we are going to create some interfaces. Okay, so now I'm going to create the first interface. So the interface name should be in camel casing, prefixed by application name. So like interface is the part that users are going to interact with when he or she logs into Appian. So this is the most important part for look and feel and for all the functionality, because this is the only mediate between the end user and the developer. So like we have different layouts, and we have different we can say so much of content on this. So let's go through it. So like first of all, in this interface we have two types of mode. One is design mode, one is expression mode. Design mode works like drag and drop functionality. We want to drag and drop and we want to build a form. We'll just drag and drop some objects and our form will create it. The other one is expression mode. So expression mode, we have to type the expression while creating a form. So I will initially go start with design mode. So like suppose I want to create a form basically for, so I will drag my form layout here. Then I have already, when I select the form, I have already some components are getting, like I'm getting buttons, submit button is there, and the title header is there. So first of all, we'll update the header. We'll update it by going to the right pane window. We'll select that and it will show the label. We'll change the label name as, so let's create a simple job onboarding form. Then follow, we have to add some of the fields in this. So we'll follow some columns approach, add the fields like this. So what we can do, we can add 3 columns. So first we'll draw. So in the first column, we are going to show the name. So name will be a text field. So I'm dropping a text box here and it will come like this. Then I am going to drop a date field for the date of birth or date of joining. And in the third section, I'm going to drop again, I think I'll drop a drop down field for some gender selection, or we'll go with radio button for gender selection. So if I, now I have to configure all these fields for to work. So like first of all, coming to text, I clicked on text. I'll go there. I'll select the text field. Okay. Now I have to update. I will update is a name. Then we have some other parameter like label position. If I want it above the field, I will choose it above. If I want different or adjacent, justified or hidden, I can do that accordingly. Then I would like to add some instruction. So I will add the instruction below this name. It will be visible. I will, if I would like to have a help tooltip, I will add to like in help to type, please enter your name. So now if you see this placeholder is coming and it's showing please enter your name. Then we have a placeholder. If I want to show some placeholder, I can enter that, enter the value. So I'm able to see the placeholder. Coming to now display value and save input. Okay. Before that, we'll configure our date field also. So like if I go to date field, I'll change the label as date of birth, label position above. Okay, I don't need to configure this. I'll skip it as of now. And I'll go to radio button part. Just simply update gender. Okay. Now I need to configure the labels for it. So if I expand it, I'm able to see like I have option 1 and option 2. Option 1 and option 2. Now I need to update it with as male or female. Okay. Now I will configure some other field. I will go back to our radio buttons. Configure the choice values also just to save it. So it's already stored as 1 or 2. Okay. If I go, okay. I can also set the visibility when it is visible, when it is not. I can also, set is it required, it is a mandatory field or not. We have some validation. I also can add validation that gender should be selected or date of birth should not be greater than today's date, like this. Let's well see in next part. Before that, so this is our form ready with 3. Let's fit it to the screen and I will go to in the preview mode. So this is the basic interface I have created just for demo. We can make so many changes in it. We can update, we can add required fields, we can add validations, messages based on our requirement. This is the course curriculum that we are going in our next classes. So introduction to the BPM tool in detail that I already described in very briefly, but we're going to discuss in more in our next class in details. Then we have folder hierarchy. Then I will go to gateways. Gateways are basically that gate, XOR gate, OR gate that help us to configure the process modeling part to describe the conditions on users flow. Then we have Appian groups and security. I have already created a group demo group for you. So what group hold? Group hold the provides the privileges to different users for Appian. Then CDTs are the custom data types. So if you want to use your own data types, you can create that in Appian and work on that within the flow. Then we have data stores and query rules that are used with databases for interacting with the database and Appian connection. Then we have document management system. We have different we can show different images, different files in Appian. So we can do that in our interface only just to make more UI better look and feel wise. Then coming to again document management, parse Excel. So it's like parsing the Excel document and getting it into Appian or vice versa. So we can do the both the things in the Appian. Then we have some advanced sale components. So let me describe something about sale. Sale is the language that is used by Appian for creating different kind of objects. So if I go to back, if I want to show you the expression mode, so this all I have configured is in the sale coding language. So these all the field that are coming is in sale language. So like I configure the text field. So these are, if this is a backend of a language, I have configured it from design mode. But if I have to configure it from expression mode, then I have to work on sale language. So this is the sale components that there are so many, like I will show you. So we have n numbers of sale components present in Appian. These all the options in left pane are sale components. Okay, then again coming to introduction to Appian reports, Appian records. Then Appian reports, I will show you a quick demo for reports. So Appian provides us some free templates or predefined templates to create our own report. So if I select any of the report, like I select sales dashboard kind of thing, Appian have already created, so we can work in the same way, or we can use it, reuse it again. So these are the some predefined templates provided by Appian. We can update our data in this, and we are good to go with our reports. And so we can generate our different reports with charts, with grids, with some filters and layouts. So these are the reporting. Then coming to Appian records, records are just holding for you know some data that already record is like holding the history of a particular, say like we have a customer, or we have a job on, we have a new onboarding. So to keep the history, or keep the track what the initial details he submitted, we have a records kind of thing in Appian. Then we have a 10-point social collaboration smart service. So we Appian provide us some smart services for making our work easy. Like we can write our data to database by just on configuring a simple smart service in our process model. Then Appian provide us sites. Sites are the basic interaction part to the user. Like we are working on different sites. Similarly, Appian provide us sites option. We can create our own site. Then we have web APIs for interacting Appian data to the third party. And last one is importing and exporting application. That is something we can import or export the Appian data from one environment to another. Like in from testing environment to develop, or from development environment to testing environment, and testing environment to production, the live code. What are we going to learn in our next few classes? So like let me quickly go through it. So it's understanding the low code IBPMS platform Appian and how it works. It's the low code practice basically. Then building the apps from the scratch. Okay. Then next is best practices and naming convention of all the objects in Appian. So like I give you example of how we provide naming convention to our objects. So that's a best practices provided by Appian. Then some of the database query will go through that are basically use some some views or some joins we can will start. Then some technical tricks for better architectural design and debugging, how to debug our data in case we are getting a wrong input. Then we have to also check performance tuning, so that if we are building an application, how good, how well, how efficient it is in performance. And the last one is debugging again. So debugging is basically like if our data is not populating, or if we are not getting the correct output, we have to debug it and we have to correct it. For that I will quickly show you something. So yeah, this is the application that I have created. Basically it's, so I'll show you the flow. So this is a simple application to add the claim type. It's a claim invest claim refund application where user can claim their claim their request, and they get refund. So like I have configured two tab as of now. So one is that is bill record, keeping the record whatever claim I have passed or I have generated so far. The other one is task list, what is the task in my queue. So currently if I give you a quick demo of this, so if I want to generate or want to claim a new bill, I will just click on add new bill. So I'll get a pop-up to add a new bill. When I click on add a new bill, I got two tasks for creating in my task list for creating two. So if I open one of them, so these are the information I need to provide before submitting my claim. So I have to accept the task. I will enter the bill type. Is it medical? Is it travel? So I selected travel. I have to mention my date of travel. I have to mention the source. Source is say like Delhi and destination to Pune. Then I have to mention the comment. So I'll mention. So after inputting my details, this is the user interface that user is going to interact with. I will submit the form. So now if I again refresh my list, I'll see another task in my queue, that is L1, approval or reject. So this is basically to escalation of a task that I have submitted to some my manager or some other higher level of escalations. So I got, because I am currently working it on my own, so I have assigned it to myself. So I'll open the task. So I have to accept it again because I am now maybe a manager or some higher authority to me. So I would be able to see the details, but in read only format I would not be able to change it. I can either reject it or approve it. So if I say I'm a manager, I will approve it, and I will click on approve button. So again this task is submitted, and if I again refresh my queue list, I will again get a task for L2 approval, that is second level of approval for the same claim. So if I again click on it, then again I have two options. I can either reject it or approve it, and moreover that I will be able to see the previous details, what are the L1 comments there, what are the requester comments, and what are the details. So again if I click on approve, I will type the comment approved and I will approve it. So the claim will get processed. So if I go to again my bill records, I will be able to see my new entry as a 13th row, where I would able to see my details, what is it. So this is my bill summary, and it is approved or my claim will get processed. So this is a very short demo for an Appian, what Appian can do or what we can achieve through Appian. So yeah, let's quickly go through it. Appian BPM training in the market. So is the only recognized global leader across multiple enterprise technology markets, including low code application development. We already discussed it. DPA also, and then intelligent business process management system and dynamic case management. So yeah, Appian is providing all these, is doing all these things in the market. So the Appian training will help you will gain expertise in developing and deploying business process application using Appian BPM suite through real world examples and hands-on project. So yeah, as we discussed these, by learning Appian, you would be able to create your individual applications from end to end with some real world scenarios that I will be taking through. Talking about certification, Appian provide three level of certification. One is level 1, that is basically for business administrator and designer level. Then level 2 is a bit compared to level 1 is bit difficult, that is for only developers. And level 3 is a monitored certification that will be for the architect level. So if you want, you can give each of that certification one by one by learning Appian. So this is the course completion certificate provided by MindMajix. So is it okay? There's some random topic of the course that also there, like records, sites, report, action related. So these are the basically most used Appian objects that we are interacting with or we are working with in our next classes. And the project that I would be guiding you through is the course registration. It's a full end-to-end demonstration of building a course registration app. So you have, it's a complete workflow for creating a course, enrolling it for, and paying, submitting it fees. So we'll be dealing with all the most of the objects in Appian while developing this project. So I'll take you some small projects also along with this, like I showed you the bill management part. So we'll be working on that also. So coming to next, lab setup. So the only prerequisite you have to is that Appian trial environment access, or if you have any partner environment access, you can get it. The trial version is for 14 days plus 14 days they will extend on request. So it would be 28 days free trial. After that you have to pay it for the license, and it would be work on any high speed net plus some Windows 10 or more or 8.1. So these are the links that you can go through it. I already showed you for Appian guide or helpline. I would also guide you to some of the interview question that Appian in that would be asked in Appian words. So these are the some examples of that questions. There would be many more that will be discussed in our next classes or the coming classes. Any feedback, you can ask to this email id at info@mindmajix.com. Thank you for connecting. Thank you for being with me.